and welcome to Baking with Wine. I have a lot of time on my hands. I have a lot of wine, but also time for baking and drinking wine. And so I've managed to find what I think my favourite recipe is for brownies, which I think is from Donna Hay's The New Classics. So today I'm just going to demonstrate for everybody with my friend here how we make those. So please watch and learn. So this is 150 grams of plain flour. You need 350 grams brown sugar, 6 eggs, 280 grams of butter, 400 grams of cooking chocolate, 200 of which is just in pieces, you're going to melt it anyway, and 200 of which you've chopped up. Just going to pop the oven on, pop it on to 180 degrees, let it heat up, leave it to do its thing. Sure. Okay, so we just chop up the chocolate. You can buy them in chips or whatever, but this is actually much nicer because it's rustic and it means you get to cut things. I think that's always a nice thing to be able to cut something up. So my wine and I are just going to savage this chocolate apart. And you see, you don't need to watch all of this, but just put this into little pieces, destroy it, and then mix it through the brownie mixture. Yep, so this is how it should look. Lots of little pieces. There you go, ready to be mixed in. Okay, so just pop butter in there. And the yummy chockies. And we just mix that together on medium heat. In fact, just leave that for a bit until it's mixed. So just mix it all together. Mixy poos, looks very nice here. Butter's melting, chocolate's melted. Keep on stirring for a while. Okay, so when the butter's all melted and everything's in a nice little melty, yummy mixture, you can just take it off the heat and leave it to cool. So meanwhile, just chuck the flour, the sugar and the eggs into a bowl. And mix them all together. Shouldn't be that difficult. I actually have a KitchenAid, which I do like to use for everything, but to be honest, this is just so ridiculously easy that it would be embarrassing to use the KitchenAid. But this is pretty much it. Just quickly mix it together. Don't mix in the chocolate yet, the chocolate chunks. I'd wait until the chocolate mixes in. Yeah, so there you go, that's how that should look. Okay, so when the chocolate mix just cooled down, just mix it in. Mix it on in with the flour and sugar mix and eggs. Looks really delicious at this point. Try not to eat it, you will get salmonella, almost certainly. Just mix it in quite well. At this point, what I think is really important is to take a sip of your wine. It makes the whole process a little bit more comfortable, a little bit easier. Okay, and then now it's time to mix in the chocolate pieces. And this is essentially your brownie mixture. This is it. So 5 minutes of mediocre work, and there you go, your brownie mixture. Try not to eat it like this, as I said. I'm not responsible for you if you do. So some people might care about cutting their baking paper, but I actually don't. So I just say, get your rectangle of baking paper, slap it on in there, fine. It's not gonna make a difference. You know, you're not gonna live any longer by cutting up squares of baking paper that fit the tin exactly. Just slap everything in here, baking mixture, in we go. It's good to have a spatula at this point. I have my little helper piggy. You know, just scrape out the sides, pop it on in there, go. Looks pretty delicious at this point. Yum. Okay, so now this is oven ready. So just put this in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. If you prefer a gooier brownie, 30. If you prefer a kind of stodgier brownie, 35, doesn't really matter, they're all going to be great because Donna Hay is my hero. So at this point, you take your brownies out of the oven, They might be a bit bumpy, ignore that, it will settle. Don't touch them. The most important thing now is do not cut them, leave them for 2 hours. At this point, I recommend that you have a glass of wine. Enjoy your handiwork. Sure. So, you take a sip of wine, first thing. When that's done, you have to cut the brownies. So normally, I would just eat it like this, okay? But sometimes people want a piece as well, okay? So you have to cut it at least in half. Just cut the brownie at least in half. Maybe more people want a piece, therefore in quarters. Doesn't matter if it's exact, nobody really checks what size the piece is, no problem, okay? Now, if you're like me and you have really irritating family and friends, sometimes they have children, sometimes they don't, you know, you need a lot of pieces, okay? At minimum, you're gonna have to cut these like this, okay? Again, doesn't matter if it's exact, no one's gonna look. And if they do, to be honest, and someone's counting the size and the shape of the piece, I mean, don't give them any. Simple. Okay. Then, you need to party them out, okay? Now you can cut this, you can cut. So what you have to remember is, okay, not all slices need to be the same. The big slices are for me, the little slices are for everyone else. No problem, okay? And my friends and I here, we've had a nice time over the last hour, and we'd like to thank you very much for joining us with Baking with Wine. Cheers.